清帝退位，结束了中国2000多年的君主制度。无数革命先烈的生命换来了一个崭新的制度。因此，1912年2月13日，辛亥年12月26日，我践行誓言，辞去临时大总统。
Hello, Victor Nygren here. English is not my mother language. I'm from Sweden. I'm adopted from Brazil actually, but Swedish is my mother language. So don't expect me to be the best at speaking. I'm better at writing actually. Anyway, this is Republic of China 1924, and yes, it takes place in 1924. It's a mod for medieval Total War Kingdoms. I downloaded it back in October 2017, but back then I couldn't start it because it would crash immediately to the desktop. To be honest, I thought it was like glitched, and that the one who provided the files to Mediafire through a link on a page he created on ModDB, the English site for mods. Or American site for mods. Anyway, the mod was made available for free. The guy Dalian, he was named on Total War on ModDB. He tried to sell it at first, but he got so heavy critique in the comment section of ModDB on his page for the mod that he decided to link the mod from Mediafire. So I could download it, which I did in October, and I couldn't enter the game because it would show the splash screen and then it would exit. So until yesterday I haven't played it, but then I choose to try to fix it, and I found another Chinese mod which had been partially released for the outside world with a limited English translation for an early version of that mod. It's called Sig Empire something. It's about the opium revolution in like the 1800s. Anyway, that mod had a page on Total War Center in which I found the solutions for this mod's problem. At first I actually found an uploaded animations pack at 94 megabit in size. It was needed for this mod to start. I had to place the animations folder inside of the Medieval 2 data folder, not the mods data folder, but the Medieval 2 data folder, replacing the animations folder there. And with these animations I no longer crashed when trying to start a game or a mod, and then the problem was that the campaign would still crash at about like 99% loading, and I found that fix too in the thread about the Sig Empire mod. It was a CS file called something about daimyo or something, I had to place it in the Moodle Strat folder inside of the mods data folder, and after doing that the campaign actually started. So now I can play it, and it is translated from Chinese to English. However, he has not been very good at translating it, so I believe there are a lot of grammatic spelling errors and like wrong words and stuff. I could probably translate it better myself, but it's a lot of files to translate, so he still did a good job of removing the Chinese text and replacing it with English, even though I believe he may have used like Google Translate. This is the British Rye faction, one of the factions in the mod. Very, very large massive text here and no space between. I will probably fix that before uploading, if I'm gonna upload it. It was also some issues in the mod, like missing portraits for the Japanese when they used like Quantum or something units. I don't know exactly. I think it was Quantum. They didn't have unit portraits in the campaign screen. Anyway, here are the factions. We will take a look at them now. We don't have the time to read the text. I will just go through them. So it's British Rye, it's the Empire of France, it's the Yan Xishan, the San Xiaofang, the People's Republic of Mongolia, the Bai Chongxi, the Feng Yuxiang, the Republic of China, which controlled China. It's the nationalist China. They controlled China before the communists took over, and they are in charge of Taiwan now, I think. Anyway, the Soviet Union, they would be pretty cool to play as they have like World War II looks and stuff. But there are no tanks and no airplanes in this mod. Only new mortars and cannons and new artillery and some cool guns they are holding and stuff and such. I believe one could probably take tanks from Warhammer or Hyrule, but they would still not fit very well with the real history setting of this mod. But one may possibly be able to like take the Hyrule new tank, which looks like a World War I era tank, and then change the mesh with an actual World War II tank. There is a Second World War mod. No, not mod. It's a Second World War game called Clash of. No, it's called War Leaders Clash of Nations, and it's like Medieval 2 but with World War II setting. It's way harder to modify, I believe, and there are no tools provided. But if anyone could manage to like open up those files and take models from that game, then I believe they would be perfect for like the Soviet tanks and the Japanese tanks and even the planes and everything, because they have everything you would need. The Germans aren't on the map, that's sad, but because they have like the coolest looking infantry, but if of the World War II era, but still the Soviets, the British, the French, the Japanese, and those guys and the United States could probably get a lot of cool tanks from that mod, and one could use the Hyrule and Warhammer tanks as a base and use the different new projectiles for the cannons for a tank too. Anyway, the rest of the factions, Liu Xiang, there are lots of different like Chinese factions. Wang Yingwei, United States, I was surprised they didn't have cannons and mortars even, like everyone else of the Eastern nations and Japan and even China or Chinese factions have cannons and mortars, but the United States only have like mariners and infantry and airborne infantry and stuff like that. They also had some like Hawaiian or Philippines units, but they lacked artillery. So I will probably, before an upload, add the British mortars and cannons to the United States faction as well, because it doesn't make sense that the United States would not have like cannons and mortars in 1927. Anyway, Long-Yan Qing dynasty, so the empire of China still had this large mass during this era of 1927. It could be compared to the small republic and the even smaller Mao communist area in 1927. Obviously the communists got help from Soviet Russia with like ammunition and tanks and stuff, and that's how they managed to beat the bigger republic. I am not sure how the actual empire disappeared, but I believe that this area is like Manchuria. In a big part of it is Manchuria, and I believe the Japanese took over lots of this area. So yeah, maybe partially due to the Japanese that they lost that area. Anyway, we have the Mengyang and we have the Japanese. Yeah, I will play as the Japanese because I like the Japanese story. I like their code of morale. I don't like their genocide of Chinese, obviously not, but I like their samurai culture and their. I am an anime fan. I have read lots of anime or manga series and watched lots of anime. Anyway, I like how they look too. They have like cool officers with swords and guns and stuff, and they look like in World War II. The only thing missing or lacking is the actual tanks. Without tanks it doesn't feel complete. I understand airplanes could be troublesome to add in Medieval 2, but they would also be possible, at least if you're aiming for bombers. In Warcraft we have a unit that can toss like hand-thrown grenades on units below. In a Star Wars mode, which unfortunately we never finished because the hard drive crashed, we saw pictures of like airships and stuff, so it's possible. And also in Warhammer we have like hydrocopters where dwarves are throwing like grenades down on the opponent. So, and we have dragons who spit fire and things, so it would be possible to replace such units with airplanes, but they would probably work as like very simple World War One bombers or very simple fighters from World War One. They would not work as World War Two because the game doesn't allow big enough explosions from that kind of unit, and they, as a fighter, they wouldn't be very effective. They would be like World War One in terms of skills. Here's an intro video, a cutscene. This is basically how the army will look. Cavalry and infantry and artillery, but no tanks, no airplanes. And ships are only on this track, but they look like World War II ships, that's pretty cool. There are also like custom settlements, and they are very detailed, especially for the Chinese. I don't know if there are any differences between like Japanese and Chinese, but the Chinese ones are really detailed. So, little video here. I could also fix issues and like add World War One style tanks from Hyrule Total War because I don't particularly care if they don't look like the World War II tanks. I just want tanks in the mod. Without tanks it doesn't feel right. Also, I won't use like 3 tanks. I will try to make them like an armada like in World War II, because the difference between World War I and World War II was that tanks was used in a different manner in World War II, where they were used en masse, while in World War One I believe they used like one and a lot of infantry behind it, and then another one and a lot of infantry. I believe too that the Japanese may still use that tactic here, and the French, but the British, the United States and the Soviet Union would use the German way, which is large forces of tanks moving forward. Here it is written, the way to the Republic is a theme of revolution in 1911 and the rise of Chinese militarists. In addition, we introduced the player in a pure way. Chinese military factions also included in Vietnam, Southeast Asian countries and India. In the next version 1.1 there will be more European countries and only one communist party and nationalist party in China. The rest are independent states in India, Vietnam and the Philippines. Version 1.1 will be released next December or mid-May. Will include modern facilities like the 1931 mod games. Cool. I would really want modern facilities in this type of mod. And also I like the fact they will reduce the number of various Chinese factions and instead add more Western ones, because I really would love to have like Nazi Germany represented on the map. I don't know how they will fit in like this map too, but I know for one that before the war between Japan, Imperial Japan, and the Republic of China, which controlled China up to the war with Japan, and during most of the war, I know that the Germans used to arm the soldiers of the Republic and give them German Stahlhelms and stuff. So yeah, they could probably be a force in China during this time. However, Hitler chose to abandon his Chinese Republican or nationalist allies after Japan invaded, because he had already made a pact of steel with Japan and Italy, and when Japan attacked he chose the stronger one, which was the Japanese Empire. Obviously had he taken the side of the Chinese, he would have gotten Japan as an enemy, and that would have been bad for the pact. On the other hand, Japan should not have invaded China, one would think, because if they hadn't, then the nationalist China or the Republic could probably join their alliance against the Soviet Union and the West. However, that wasn't in Japan's interest, because Japan wanted China for manpower and Manchuria for oil and other such resources. Japan had almost no oil, so they needed Manchuria for such resources, and then they needed the mainland China and the population of China for the actual men. They were only like 80 million in Japan, while China had like 10 times that, so or more. So yeah, they plan to use Chinese manpower to conquer the world. But yeah, by invading China, they turned the Republic against the Axis powers and turned them into allies of the United States instead of Hitler. Anyway, let's take a look at this mod. So this is the Japanese regions here. they have current. It's hard to see the details because of this. I will probably look into that because that's annoying. One want to know what is how many regions one has and such. However, this screen looks good. We are allied with Qing dynasty. That is the imperial China. I believe they had like a puppet here in control of that part. Then we are at war with the rebels. We are the Empire of Japan. Yeah, here the Kwantung army have no portraits, but I believe there exists portraits in custom battles for the same units. So I will probably just need to place them in the mercenary folder or something. That's no big deal. I am looking forward to the update 1.1 because it had more European factions, but there is still not certain that mod will be translated. This mod is translated, so we will have to keep with it for now, but I plan on probably fixing some grammatic errors, spelling errors and such, because I don't like all the translations, but it's better than Chinese for someone who doesn't understand Chinese at all. So let's take a look at the map. Google FO or FOB. Oh, the mod crashed. I don't know why. Maybe there are an area on the map where I can't put my mouse, because in some mods when one cuts the mouse, places the mouse. Oh, I must lower the sound. In some mods, when you place the mouse over a certain settlement, it could crash due to the religious levels in the rebels file being wrong. So that may be the cause of the crash. I don't know for sure. Anyway, let's do what I did again. Toggle forward to take a look at the map. By the way, here is Edo, the Japanese headquarters, but it should be the capital. Anyway, here's a I placed him wrongly, but here's a diplomat, very 19th century or 20th century. We have like the officer here. We have an ordinary soldier captain. We have the priests who are monks, which is very fitting. And then we have the merchants, samurai style. The princess doesn't look very good and convincing to look. It's like a Roman diplomat. I will probably look after something to replace that one with, because there should not be princesses like this. Then we have the ship, looking very much correct for the period. Second World War style ship. Have like all the alliances here and things. The Republic of China has lots of friends, but also lots of enemies. The People's Republic of China only has the Soviet Union as the ally, but are at war with many. United States are at war with, are allied with the Republic and Yan Shixan. Yeah. Take a look at the regions here. See the big scope of the actual map. Going to Manila here, you can see like American commander here. Looking very much World War II. Well, an American general should be somewhere too. That is a captain, I guess. I don't see one currently, but yeah, they have a different styled general. We have Mod crashed again when I moved too much around the map. I'm not sure about the stability of the mod. When I first tried it yesterday, it actually did work to like attack and play a battle, and it didn't crash after the battle and so. But now it crashed when I moved somewhere down there in India. So I am not sure. There may be issues, and then I may need to track them in the system file in order to find out what to fix. But we'll try to just play as the Japanese and not moving too much around the map for now. Because I want to preview it, I don't want it to crash. But there are some problems on some place of the map. So here is the border with our ally. I still want to see the whole map. If you take a look at the building tree, we can clearly see that all of the Japanese buildings, or almost all, have been turned into like 20th century buildings. So it's a good thing for immersion. So we will focus on economy first. Ports. We have, we can take another port there. Maybe some roads. Foreign exchange. Commercial ports. That is an outdated building. Maybe some mines. Grocery market. So we don't have any more money. I will save in order to not have to redo anything. Now the question is which faction should we attack? Our ally is at war with Yanxichan, Baishongxi, Fengqiang, Republic of China, the People's Republic of China, Yixiang, the Wang Qingwei, and the Longyan, and the rebels. So we have no border with our enemies. So we need to take the ships, but I'm afraid if I move down there, it will crash again. So let's attack the Soviet Union. I think that's what we will do. Soviet Union. Send a diplomat here. Immediately obsessed. An assassin. Send them to the mainland. So the army, emperor could stay in the town. Probably need to prepare for the war. We will gather our forces. So we move the ship to all the settlements. So got a revolt in that area. This isn't too good. See if we can build some more buildings, perhaps. Corn exchange. Commercial fire. The port. Yeah, the translations aren't always perfect. Like half done, like the port of, but what? Like the port of what? That's better than nothing, I guess. At least you understand it's a port. That CTD worries me too, because it can't be played if it's CTDs. So I hope perhaps it won't be unsolvable. I may be able to fix it somehow. So lots of roads and stuff. Now we need to move this fleet next turn. And move out some troops there too. We need a full army. This is Gendarmerie, the typical Japanese soldier, I guess. The Gendarmerie is part of the Japanese Army's military police. Yeah, they are like military police, basic units. They are responsible for mating with the Japanese collection intelligence and negative military police tasks, the repression of the Chinese peoples and the Japanese anti-Japanese live movement. And we have the Guards Division infantry. Guards of this etymology from the Nara Princess, the Nara period. Guard the palace. They are like the guards of the palace. I move them out, they can no longer protect the empire or the emperor. So, next turn. Place the fleet. Here we have an interesting guy, Prince Yoshihito, with a picture of Hirohito, probably his son or something. Can recruit troops and agents too. Diplomats, merchants, assassins and spies. Here we have another guy. Space troops perhaps there. Send that guy. Mines. Port. Workshop. No, we don't need a workshop, we need more money. Corn exchange, obviously. We need a good economy. Mines. There are no such buildings, we just build walls then. Grotto. Military training camp. Yeah, let's train some such buildings in order to get better units. Railroad. good playing as Japanese that we are protected by sea. So in fact we only risk being attacked by our ally here. So I don't think it's very likely we'll be attacked soon. I soon have a full force of caps, but it's like only one type of unit, that's not good. Diplomatic information, the Feng Xuxiang are now at war with the San Xuanfang and the Qing dynasty. Our ally is the Qing dynasty. Anyway, we will move against the Soviets, because they are closest on the map and they are the biggest threat. We won't move to Korea or China because I don't trust the game not crashing if we move there. That will need looking into. So I moved to the Soviet Union instead. Maybe we should turn the fleet around to still have some troops here. Quantum units are different. Otherwise there was only like police forces. I think we will pick up the quantum troops there. Here then we have more caps. They revolted there. Here we have an army, quantum machine gun squads and quantum army infantry. I guess we will just pick up these guys. It took a longer time than expected to end the turn. I hope it doesn't crash or stay like this forever. We'll see. Longyan. That sucked. It can end up like this in the middle of next turn. Not good. Could try to load an autosave. Big problems with stability or not. See if it CTDs again here, or I mean if it stays here forever. Yeah, on turn 7 to 8 the mod gets stuck on Long Jan's turn. I don't know if it will end. Let's wait some minutes and see if it continues or not. Otherwise we have a serious problem with this bug here, and I can't continue the campaign. And no battles work. Custom battles work without problems, and battles in campaign work, and they don't crash after battles. But if it crashes when I move the mouse over a certain place, or if it gets stuck, like if the game gets stuck like this, then it still isn't very playable in its current shape. And to believe that guy wanted us to pay for the mod. The most important thing is that the mod actually works without problems before anyone wants to play it, or I mean buy it. Also buying is illegal in Visp, but yeah, it would help a lot if it actually worked without problems, which is usually not the case with mods. and that's why mods should be for free. Also, they should be for free because Medieval 2 is the property of Creative Assembly, and I don't think they allow people to sell their product in any form. But this doesn't look good. I don't think we will see this end. That sucked. I could try to remove scripts and things and test the campaign without scripts, but in the end that may destroy much of the mod anyway, because scripts is half the fun of playing a mod with heavy scripts. But yeah, it did lock itself up at turn 7 to 8. I had no choice but to quit. If you look at the custom battles and all, can I show you the armies instead? Here we have the British Rye army, lots of cannons and stuff. Hong Kong RNCP, the British Royal Guard, the British Royal Army Cavalry, the British Royal Army Machine Gun even, the British Royal Marines, British Desert Infantry, Scottish Highland Infantry Regiment, Green Jacket Commando, Gorkha Battle Champ, British Royal Army Infantry Company, Indian Infantry Company, and then we have like the British Light Cannon, the UK Light Artillery, the British Heavy Machine Gun Group. They don't know the actual name of the unit. I don't even know it myself because I'm not British. British Gatling Gun Squad, British Heavy Artillery attached. So yes, what's lacking is tanks and airplanes, but especially tanks, which could be added. Then we have the People's Republic of Mongolia, which have like Republic of China Patrol, Xinjiang Military Infantry Company, Guard Group, Xinjiang Broadsword Colts, and then they have mortar teams. They have the Canada Korkan Heavy Artillery, a Rapid Fire Cannon Team, the Gatling Gun Team, and then Heavy Machine Guns, Howitzers, Infantry Gun Team, 105mm Howitzer, and Heavy Howitzer. So they had lots of artillery and very small amounts of actual units. Moving on, we have the Empire of France, with the France and mercenaries, the French Army Commando. So this is like French Army Commando. We have the French Army Infantry Company, France and an Expeditionary Force Mission, the French Army Machine Gun, the French Legion of Honor, French General Guard, which is mounted on horses, and then we have French and hunting cavalry. And we have just 3 artillery pieces: the French light cannon, French Gatling gun squad, the French heavy artillery. Moving on, we have the Banqiongsi. They have the Republic of China Patrol again. Like the other faction, they have like Army Infantry Company, Army Guard Row, Guard Brigade, Guangxi Army First Army, and lots of artillery. We have the Yangtze Chan. It's a unique roster. They have the China Patrol, but then they have like Jinsu Army Infantry Company, the Jinsu Army to drop bombs on Link. They drop bombs. Guard Brigade and Jinsu Army of the 9th Division, and lots of artillery. We have the Feng Shui Shang, which unique the Northwest Army, the Northwest Army First Army, and the Northwest Army Cavalry. And the names aren't very good. They could have done a way better job at naming these units in English. Anyway, here we have another faction with lots of units, the San Xiangfang. San Xiangfang Scouts, Jiangsu, Zhejiang Guard Brigade, Northern Army Infantry Company, Shan Xiangfang Infantry Company, Northern Army 3rd Division, and Artillery. Also the Jiangsu and Zhejiang Army 20th Division. We have the Republic of China, Patrol Army Infantry Company, Guangdong Army Infantry Company, Guangdong Army Guard Company, Economic Center Force, Guard Brigade, Guangdong Army 1st Division, National Revolutionary Army, National Naval Guns, Economic Center Guards, and lots of artillery. That's all of them. Then we look at the other ones. Soviet Union, People's Republic of China, Liu Qiang, the Wang Yingwei, United States, Long Yun, and the Qing Dynasty, and the Manyang. Looking at the Soviet Union, they have a unique roster. They have the Russian machine guns, the Tsarist Russia 75mm heavy artillery team, Tsarist Russia 150mm heavy artillery. Then they have the Soviet Guard, Cossack Cavalry, Soviet Field Army machine gun, the Soviet Guards Army, Soviet Field Army Infantry Company, Soviet Field Army submachine gun, Soviet Reserve Army, and the People's Committee Infantry Company. United States lacks any type of cavalry. I was thinking about adding the British mortars and cannons to the United States. That would make sense, but if the mod doesn't work without crashing, it's a waste of time. I will look into trying to look up what the problem is and fix it if I can. But if I can't manage to fix the issue with that loading at turn 7 to 8, locking itself up, or can't fix the issue with crashing on the strat map then moving over a certain area, then I think I will skip work on the mod. But if I can fix those issues, I will probably upload a version where they are fixed, including adding portraits with some 2 units that are lacking portraits. Yeah, and maybe changing some of the names because I don't really like them. Here are the United States Army. We have United States Philippines Mercenaries, Philippine government represented as a unit, United States Marine Corps, US Army Carbine, United States Army Airborne, United States of the Philippines Dispatch Army, US Special Warfare Team, US General Guard. The names could be way better. But yeah, some of the units look really good, but this isn't really a full army, unlike this one, which is pretty cool. But yeah, tanks are needed. We have the People's Republic of China, and they have farming army, peasant self-defense forces, they have workers pickets, Wuhan National Government Guards, and they have Nanchang Uprising Army, and they have lots of artillery. We have the Liu Qiang with unique troops like Shan Army Infantry Company, Shan Army Guard Row, Shan Army the main division, lots of cavalry. We have the Qing Dynasty. They have same units as the others, plus the Bong Army Riflemen, the Lu Pei Fu Flower machine guns, They have the Blue Army 11th Army, Blue Army Infantry Company, Hong Army 3rd Army Corps, Northeast Aviation at the Student, Hong Army Cavalry, Blue Army Cavalry Regiment, and lots of artillery. Let's look at Japan. They have this force. They have Japan Maxim Gun Squad. They have Gatling Gun Team. They have Japanese 57mm rapid fire cannon and FN Armstrong artillery. Then they have like FN, that must mean like United Nations or something, but I'm not sure. Anyway, Guards Division Cavalry, Japanese Cavalry, Imperial Guard, Venting Army Machine Gun Squad, Guards Division Infantry, Marine Corps, Native Japanese Garrison Army, Gendarmerie, Japanese Army Infantry Squad, and Manchuria Ying'an Air Forces. That's the troops. Custom battles were fine. Unfortunately not. The campaign, it will lock itself up or it will sit at even moving. So some fixing is needed there. Let's just play a battle anyway, as the Japanese versus the Soviets. I'll play as the Japanese then. I realized it's the Nazi German flag in the background, not using the swastika, but it's still there. But Germany isn't represented in this version of the mod, maybe in the future version it is. Imperial Guard, Guards Division Cavalry. I guess the Imperial Guard is first. We will just take one of each, like that. And we can add another Manchurian unit, Infantry Squad, Gendarmerie, Native, Marine Corps, Guard Division. And then we add the artillery. That's the Japanese Army, Soviet Guard, and we add all these units. People's Committee's Infantry, Soviet Reserve Army, Soviet Field Army. We will add 2 of each, and I think they could have another 2 Kazakhs and Cossacks, more units of those, and we add the artillery. Maybe we'll remove one of these units and add another artillery piece. And start. But I'm not sure about the Soviets. They seem to work fine. Some horses in this mod are like using old style horses, vanilla horses, very textured, while others are actually marca horses. If you look at this unit, they are holding both swords and pistols, which is pretty accurate. The Imperial Guard. And we have officers. They can be both dismounted and mounted. They hold swords in one hand and pistols in the other. This one is holding a banner and a sword. Sword was a very much honorable thing to hold, like they had like a samurai nostalgia in the empire during this time. They probably wanted to return to the ways of the samurai without returning to those ways, like having a modern state with the samurai ways of life, like samurai values. Like samurais in a modern setting. Anyway, let's start this battle. they are all shooting, so we will have formations to lose formation. Then the infantry have these things instead of pikes, which is very fitting for like a World War I mod. But it's little old, they are in the air and not exactly on the ground. Still pretty cool. Loose formation there too. Let's just do it this way, otherwise it will take forever. Loose form and Cantabrian circle. Loose form, and then this unit here, loose form. You could probably use that for all of them. Here, do this for all of them. So, and the artillery pieces, loose form. So now they are ready. We have these things, but they are in the air, so it doesn't look perfect. We have the units. I will change the UI. I don't like when they are like that. They should slide. So I like how they look, really good models, I must say. If we could just get the campaign to work without having issues, then this mod would be pretty fun. Especially if we could add tanks to the mod in large scale. That would give the modern nations, including Japan, some power. They could drive over infantry in masses. Otherwise it's very hard to like conquer settlements, because the gunners on the walls or the towers will kill all your infantry before they even reach the gate. But yeah, they have really cool looking units here. Cool looking soldiers, an officer with a sword and a banner, one with sword and the what is the name of that? Yeah, but the sword and the thing, you have it here. Anyway, the models are really cool. And these units look exactly like those guys from the documentaries. So, here we have the Soviet Union. Pretty cool models, I think. Tanks look good. Crews look good. These guys look really World War II. Really good. Soviet flags, Soviet officers. Obviously we would need like Nazi Germany in order to create like a World War II mod. But this is a good beginning. One could use these units for a World War II setting in Europe, if there are such a map. Really good looking units. There are also like 2 or 3 German models, but I believe only one had a Stahlhelm. The others looked like World War I soldiers. Because this mod takes place before Hitler came to power, but after the First World War, so there were like stormtroopers using Stålhelms and the uniforms seen later, but there were no swastikas. In 1927 and 1924, Hitler was still rallying followers, and I believe in 1927 he was locked up in prison if he hadn't been released by that time. I believe it was somewhere around that time he got released. But anyway, the unit model with the Stålhelm could still be used as a base model to create the Wehrmacht. You can't have a World War II mod without the Germans. However, this Russian army is really good looking, and it's a good start. But for this mod we just need to make it stable and not crash and have issues. So if I manage to do that, I will probably fix some things and then upload it. If I don't manage to fix it, then I may still upload it so anyone else can test their luck on fixing it. But then you can not expect the campaign to work without issues. Custom battles work fine too. And the units are very good too. So they could be used for other projects like World War II, World War I, etc. Really good. Basically have all the infantry you need for the Soviets, the British, the French, and for China. And for the United States, they just need more artillery, but could borrow from Britain. The 1.1 version may have Germany and other interesting factions too, but that version won't be translated, I think. So they aren't really holding their stuff correctly. Even have these kind of guns in the sea. Yeah, the War Leaders Clash of Nations game has all the models one would need for World War II Total War. That game is basically Medieval 2 on World War II stage, but too unstable to be worth it. And not only that, but not only is it unstable, but it also has like some bad functions, like you can't choose the AI army in custom battles. You can only choose your own army. The AI army is chosen by the AI. That sucks. And also in campaign, had a network conflict mode, so you couldn't play real-time battles in that mode, which sucks. And as for the campaign, it's good, but all the minor factions have the same units. They didn't put a lot of effort into minor factions. And then it's the fact that everyone is speaking bad American or English instead of having their own languages. So like the Chinese and Germans who speak English, and that's not good. But it's pretty cool otherwise. I would prefer to have it on World War II too. Battles are very fast here because everyone is shooting everyone, and due to new animations, guns are very effective. seems we won this battle. Yeah, tanks are lacking and airplanes. Move. Not see them. They look gorgeous. They did a very good job on the models. Love that officer there with the sword and things. I actually always wanted a World War II mod for Medieval 2, but the problem is that airplanes and tanks are hard to make justice in this kind of mod. It's not historically accurate that the Soviets would lose to Japan. They actually owned the Japanese when they attacked them, and actually said they were no match compared to the Germans. They expected them to be harder, but they were surprised how easy they were to beat after having fought the Germans for many years. Because the Soviets only attacked the Japanese in Manchuria and Korea after beating the Germans. And compared to the Germans, the Japanese were child's play in terms of their equipment and stuff. The only thing they had going for them was the fact they never gave up and had a very, very high morale, unlike the German soldiers who actually gave up in masses. Japanese losses 623, Soviet losses 1491. It's far from stable. It's far from balanced, this mod. And I believe the Soviets should be stronger than the Japanese. Japanese soldiers should have better morale, but the Soviets should have way better gear. Without the tanks, you can't really do World War II justice. Not without tanks. Yeah, due to it crashing in campaign, I will not play a Let's Play, but yeah, this is it. I probably will upload it anyway, so anyone else can have their try fixing it, but first I will try it myself by putting the error log on trace and finding out, trying to find out what the issues are, removing the scripts and see if that solves the issue with the game locking itself up on the 7th turn. We'll also look in the Total War Center crashes thread. Maybe they have something about that crash, or the game locking itself up. But yeah, I can't play the campaign as long as it is this unstable. The models of the Soviet Union, etc., could absolutely be used for a World War II game or mod in a European setting. They are very good looking. Thanks for watching.